where we are now and where we want to be. Right now, we hear about all these things. We know about bhakti, we know about Krishna, but still we don't have complete love for Krishna, Krishna prem. And it's because we still are holding on to our anartas. Anartas means literally impediments to the advancement in devotion. So impediments that are holding us back from achieving pure love. So unless we can cut off these anartas, we can't achieve our full spiritual potential. So therefore these weapons are helping us cut through our anartas and realize our true identity and our true spiritual purpose. Pravaram Bratarasata Sikang Chanarayanang Tang Prabhanam Shri Guru Charanang Vande Ramana Prasthaya Bhutale Rupanuga Bhaktiram Chakripa Murti Narayanam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Bharutananda Shadvaita Gadadhara Shvasti Govakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. All right, congratulations. We finished Gaura Tattva. We've done 8 verses of Gaura Tattva together in the last maybe 10 days or 11 days, because every day we learned a new verse, and we've been revising the verses, and also we've been discussing the verses. So for a few days we didn't get to discuss the verses we learned in depth, so today we'll try to discuss them a little bit more, as well as a general overview of the purpose of Mahaprabhu's advent and the mood behind his advent, the reasons for his advent, the specialities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So first, briefly, we'll just go through the 8 verses we learned. Okay? We have some time today, so half hour, so we'll go through all the verses we learned. Then tomorrow and the next day also, we'll take turns with each of the devotees revising and trying to speak all the verses with the translations. If you need to, you can look at the book. If possible, you can try to do it from memory. So you'll say the verses, say the translations, and if you want, then you can also speak something you feel about it, something you've meditated upon, or some of the things you like about Mahaprabhu. If you want, it can just be speaking about Gaura Tattva. Basically what we're doing is we're learning all the different tattvas. So we've learned Guru Tattva, Vaishnav Tattva, Bhagavat Tattva, and now Gaura Tattva. So the verses are a way for us to make a key, which is like an association to all the further depth of the specialities and realities of these different philosophical truths. A tattva basically means philosophical conception, or the Vedantic conception in regard to this specific subject matter. So Gaura Tattva means all the different conceptions of our teachers, our Guru Varga, about the nature and reality of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gauranga. Similarly, there's Guru Tattva, Vaishnav Tattva, Bhagavat Tattva. So I think we've learned like 30, 40 verses now in the Vaishnav. We're studying the Slokamitam Bindu, which is basically the Gaudiya Kantahar. Gaudiya Kantahar means a necklace that adorns the neck of the devotees. So what is that necklace? That is all the different slokas. The verses are described to be like jewels. When you have a necklace, you have many jewels on the necklace. So these verses we're learning, they're becoming like a necklace around our neck, right? Because by remembering these verses, we remain protected from Maya on one hand. It protects us like a kavacha. So it's kantahar. Also, it's something that we try to keep always in our memory. Like if you have an intimate friend, for example, that you may wear a necklace they gave you, or a necklace with their picture in it, and then you can always think about them. So what you keep around the neck is something generally that's very dear to you. That's why we always keep tulsi beads around our neck. That shows our devotion towards Krishna in Vrindavan specifically, because it's Brinda Devi. Tulsi is from Vrindavan. Also, it's like a way for us to be connected to Krishna. We're always grabbing hold of Tulsi. And it's like grabbing hold of her feet, and then we can go to Krishna in Vrindavan. So basically, the Gaudiya Kantahar is what we're learning. This book was published by Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada in his time, by one of his disciples. And they called it the Gaudiya Kantahar. Later this book was published, it's called Slokamitam Bindu. But this is mostly verses that are taken from the Gaudiya Kantahar. This book is a short version of the full book, which is called Slokamritam, which is about 800 pages. So right now we're learning the essential verses. If we want to come back again later, we can learn many more verses. It's not like Gaur Tattva is finished, Guru Tattva is finished. But we're trying to grasp the essential points now and bring these into our hearts so that we know, like, why did Mahaprabhu come? What are the reasons Mahaprabhu came? Then if we learn a verse about that, instead of having to remember all these different points, you just say the verse, and if you learned it properly, then you know the meanings automatically. So that's one way. It's very easy to access the knowledge by learning the verse. Like if you're in any studies like math, then you have to learn equations. If you learn the equations, then you know how to solve problems. So we need to learn these verses. These verses are like spiritual equations. And what is the problem we need to solve? Why am I suffering in Maya? How can I get out? How can I be happy? How can I be engaged in bhakti? How can I be serious and enthusiastic? So we chant these verses and we pray to Mahaprabhu, and then it's an easy way for us to become successful in our devotional process. So we're learning these, that's why we learn these verses. And then it becomes like a necklace around our neck. Also, another thing is Sastra. This is all coming from Sastra. Sastra means the spiritual, like the scripture, our scriptures. But also Sastra comes from the word astra, right? And astra means a weapon, like an arrow. Like when you're studying how to be an archer in the Vedic tradition, you're learning like astra sastra, means the knowledge of weaponry, and specifically like it's called like missiles. They call these arrows missiles because back then, now we just think arrow just like some wooden shaft with a hook on a spear on the end or something, or like the arrowhead. But before, they would have these mystic mantras, and they're chanting mantras also. When they invoke the arrow, they pull forth the arrow, they hold it there, and they chant a mantra, like a spell, and it invokes the deva who personifies over that arrow or that special weapon. The arrow is a vehicle, right, for the spell. But there's a devata, like a demigod or a god, who is the personified deity of that weapon. And when you shoot it, then it becomes like a missile. So you can see they can shoot an arrow that creates a hurricane. They can shoot an arrow that creates a tornado. They can shoot an arrow that creates a torrential downpour. They can shoot an arrow that creates a firestorm. And they are meditating. There's like the Agni Astra, a fire weapon, Indra, Shiva has one, Vishnu has one. So these are astras, weapons. But Sastra is also like a spiritual weapon. It said, Sante Vaisha Chindanti Mano Vyasa Muktibi. The sadhus, with their speech, they are cutting through the anarthas of the heart. All those impediments to our devotional advancement. They're cutting through it. And therefore their words can be like arrows. And sometimes they can hurt also. But they're very precise, like a surgeon. A surgeon will have to use some kind of sharp tool, a scalpel, in order to perform the surgery. But they don't do it to harm people. They're doing it to help them or to help them heal or become well. So sometimes, like if you have gangrene or some kind of disease like that, they have to cut out the infection. Also, when we say Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya, it means they're using this scalpel tool to cut off the cataract, which is like a film which is impairing your vision. So to give you clear vision, they have to perform some kind of surgery. So therefore, Sastra is also like a kind of spiritual weapon, but it's a weapon that heals instead of harms. It's like a surgeon's knife. But sometimes it still may feel painful. So where we are now and where we want to be? Right now, we hear about all these things. We know about bhakti, we know about Krishna, but still we don't have complete love for Krishna, Krishna Prem. And it's because we still are holding on to our anarthas. Anarthas means literally impediments to the advancement in devotion. So impediments that are holding us back from achieving pure love. So unless we can cut off these anarthas, we can't achieve our full spiritual potential. So therefore these weapons are helping us cut through our anarthas and realize our true identity and our true spiritual purpose. So that's why it's like a kantahar, but it's also like a quiver. So your slokas you learn, you should imagine them like your quiver of spiritual arrows. And when you come into certain circumstances in life that are very difficult, then you can call upon these weapons And they're also like a deity. When you use these arrows in the spiritual science of archery, they can use like the Brahmastra weapon, which is Brahma's weapon, which is like an atom bomb explosion, right? But how do they invoke that weapon? It's not just a material thing, it's a subtle science. So they invoke it by meditating upon the deity of the mantra. So similarly, when we chant these slokas, they all have personified deities. This book used to be called Every Sloka is a Person. Every sloka is a personality. It said in the Bhagavatam, every verse is a personality. Even every word in the verse may be a different personality. So when we remember these slokas, we pray to the personality of the sloka. Please reveal yourself to me. Like when we chant our Gayatri mantras. The Gayatri mantras are also, they have deities behind them. When we chant Guru Gayatri, we're praying to Guru, who is our Guru, and he's the deity behind that. When we chant Gaur Gayatri, we're praying to Gauranga. So when we chant these slokas, we also pray, please, O personified deity of the sloka, please reveal yourself to me and help me in this situation. Because ultimately we're learning these slokas to help ourselves advance in spiritual life. Because if we first think we'll go and help others, but we're not capable, then instead of helping others, we'll increase their ailment. Like if we're not a qualified physician and we proclaim ourselves to be surgeons, and we say, oh, I can do brain surgery. Abhiram, you have a brain tumor? No problem, come in my room. I have a razor blade, I can fix it. So if we say that we're a surgeon or a doctor and we're not qualified, instead of helping people, we'll cause them more injury. So the primary reason we're learning these verses is first to help cut through our own anarthas. That's why also one thing that's very important to remember is a verse. It's actually a verse in relation to Gaura Tattva also. It said, Yaha Bhagavata Paro Vaishnavirastane Ekanta Shrai Chaitanya Charane. There's another verse of Gaura Tattva we didn't learn this time, but it's important. It said, Yaha Bhagavata Paro Vaishnavirastane. You should study the scriptures or the Bhagavatam under the shelter of the Vaishnavas. And Ekanta Ashrai Koro, take one pointed shelter of Lord Chaitanya. Otherwise, it's like going to the pharmacy and just picking random medicines off the shelf and starting to take them. If you have some basic knowledge, you may know, okay, I take this supplement or take this medicine and it may give you some help. But really you should come under the guidance of a proper physician or a doctor, and then they can prescribe you what's better, appropriate for your particular ailment or sickness. So if we want to learn these scriptures and put them into practice in our life, we need to come under the shelter of a real sadhu guru, a real saint who can administer them to us in a way that will be very beneficial. So we're not just independently studying. In any kind of field, if you want to independently study, it's very hard to get the same results as you will get under an expert mentor. In the story of Ekalavya was independently trying to study separate from his guru, Dronacharya. His guru did not accept him. He thought, I don't need my guru. He made a murti of his guru and he was meditating on him and he became very skillful in archery. But then afterwards, he'd never pleased his guru. And his guru never accepted him, so ultimately he was killed and he was passed away. His life was not successful. His guru never accepted him. So when we study these slokas and sastra, it all leads us to the point of Guru Padashrai, taking full shelter of Guru, and then doing Krishna Seva. It said, Krishna Dikshari Shikshanam. The first step of spiritual life is you take shelter of Guru, Guru Pad Ashrai, taking shelter of the lotus feet of Guru, and then Krishna Dikshari Shikshanam. Take Krishna Diksha, the mantra, and then take shiksha, teachings from the saintly person. So we're not encouraging so much independent study. It can be helpful to learn something, but ultimately it's best to approach the saintly person. We approach Prabhuji, we approach the Vaishnavas, pray to them for shelter. Now we're like in a kindergarten school or a primary school, and we're learning the ABCs, we're learning the basics. But it will be useful for us when we take what it would be called like apprenticeship. Like if you want to become expert in a certain vocation, then you must apprentice to a master. So in bhakti, we must apprentice to a master, and the closer we develop relation with them, which is called like mamata, then it said mamata prematadika. By mamata, by possessive love for them, then we establish relationship, and then all the revealed scriptures can come in our heart. We learned one verse before. You'll remember it. Yasya deve para bhakti yatha devi tatha guru tasyaite katita hyarta prakashante mahatmana. All the revealed scriptures, all revealed knowledge manifests in the heart of that person who has the same topmost devotion, para bhakti, for both Krishna and Guru. So that's our process. So that was Guru Tattva. All right, so we're just going to move forward. So we learned 8 verses. I'll just go through each verse and you can chant it as I also do it. You can say it. We can say it together, okay? Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Ladini Shakti Rasmad Ekatmana Vapi Bhuvi Pura Deha Bedam Katoto Chaitanyakyam Prakatam Aduna Tadvayam Chakyam Aptam Radha Bhava Dyuti Suvalitam Naomi Krishna Swarupam. So in this verse, it's described that Radha Krishna are one truth. It said, Ekatmanav apipu vipura. They are one soul, but in 2 forms. But specifically, there's Krishna and then Radhika, who is the pranaya vikritir, the manifestation of his love. And when the first day we were talking about this, we heard how, remember what we talked about? Radhavati ati Radha. When Krishna desired to perform Ras Lila, which is to exchange the pastimes of love with his expansions, then Radhika manifested from his left side. That's at the time of Ras Lila. Radhika manifested and then she immediately ran towards Krishna with rag, with great attraction. She ran towards Krishna. So running means davati. So Radha, Dav means davati, and Ra means with rag, with great love, great attraction, like a magnet, like iron being pulled to a magnet. She ran towards Krishna. Therefore Radha means Radha Dhavati ati Radha. She who is running towards Krishna with the desire to satisfy him, to give him pleasure, that personality is known as Radha. So she is the manifestation of his Ladini Shakti, which is his pleasure potency. And they have, although one, they have appeared in 2 forms. We also heard the example of fire having heat and light as its 2 parts. So in a fire, fire has heat or warmth, and it also has effulgence or light. So the fire is given as the example for Krishna, and the heat and light are given for the examples of Radharani. Radharani means the potency, and Krishna is the potent. So ultimately you cannot separate fire from its parts. If you have a fire, if there's a fire here, automatically the fire will give off heat and it will give light. So you cannot say we'll have a fire, but there'll not be any heat or light. So Krishna without Radha is not possible. Like we say, without Radharani, Krishna is nirvishesh, nirvikar, without any form, without any attributes, because only Radharani is giving those attributes. But really they are one. It's not like they're 2 personalities. And we gave the example of a chickpea that has a shell, a thin shell, husk, like a husk, and it's 2 halves, but it's one chickpea. So there's 1 half, 1 half. And we described that the English word given for this is moieties. 1 moiety means an inseparable half. So 2 moieties together, the divine moieties, the divine couple, that is Radha Krishna. So they're inseparable. But now in Gaur Lila, they have again become 1 form. Chaitanyakyam prakatam. They have appeared now, aduna, now, as Chaitanya. Tadvayam chaikyam aptam. And although 1 have appeared in 2 forms, and then what is their nature? Radha bhava dyuti suvalitam nomi Krishna swarupam. It is Krishna Swarup, and we talked about Swarup Shakti also being Srimati Radhika. So it's Krishna Swarup, but with the complexion and effulgence of, and the moods of Srimati Radhika. Okay, so that is Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, the verse number 5. And then we learn the next verse. Okay, let's say it together. Shiradhaya pranaya mahima kidrisho vanayaiva Svadyo yenad bhuta madhurima kidrisho vamadiya Sokyam chasyamad anubhavata kidrisham betilovat Tadbhavadya sama jani sachigarbha sindhu harindu. So this is Adi Lila, verse number 6, the first chapter. And it's the next verse. So in this verse, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami further explains the 3 internal reasons for Mahaprabhu's appearance. Okay, the first is that he wanted to understand the glory of Srimati Radhika's love. Radhaya pranaya mahima, vanayaiva. Then, svadyo yenadbhuta madhurima kidrisho vamadiya. He wanted to taste the sweetness in himself, vamadiya, that only Radha, vanayaiva, svadyo tastes. So, yena adbhuta madhurima. What is that wonderful sweetness? Adbhuta madhurima. Adbhuta means wonderful. What is that wonderful madhurima sweetness? That svadyo means to taste. That vanayaiva means only Radha. So only Radha tastes that topmost sweetness that is Krishna himself. But Krishna, being sweetness personified, cannot taste himself. He can taste the love of his devotees by accepting their service. He experiences ananda. Krishna experiences nanda as Krishna. He experiences bliss as Krishna. But in order to taste the sweetness of himself, then he must appear with the mood and complexion of Srimati Radhika as Gauranga. If he wants to taste the sweetness of his own sweetness rather than just that of his devotees. Okay? So that's the second internal reason he came. Svadyo yenadbhuta madhurima kidriso vamadiya. Vamadiya was in myself. So then the third one, sokyam chasyamad anubhavata kidrisham veti lobat. He wanted to kidrisham, understand. He had greed, lob, to understand what is the happiness, sokyam, that Radhika experiences through her relationship with me, through her devotional service to me. What is that happiness? So for these and three internal reasons, Mahaprabhu appeared, Tad Bhavadya Samajani Sachigarbha Sindhu Harindu, like the full moon appearing out of the ocean of the womb of Sachimata. Okay? So then the third one we learned. Anarpita charim chirat karunaya tirna kalo samarpaitum unoto jalarasam svabhakti shriyam haripurata daraditika damba sandipita Sadahridaya kandares puratu vasachinandana. So this is a verse from Vidagdha Madhava written by Srila Rupa Goswami. It's also in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And it says that for a very long time, this special thing had not been given. Anarpita charim chirat. Charim chirat means for a very, very long time. It means since the previous day of Brahma, which means billions of years before. Okay? So Anarpita charim chirat karunaya avatirna kalau. Then Mahaprabhu is the avatar of Karuna, mercy. And he appeared in Kali Yuga. Avatirna, Karunaya avatirna kalau. Kalau means in Kali Yuga. So he is the embodiment or incarnation of mercy. Krishna is Lila Purushottam. He performs very sweet pastimes. Ram is Maryada Purushottam. He establishes proper rules and regulations and etiquette of human life, dharma. But Krishna is, or Mahaprabhu is, Doya, like he is the embodiment of mercy. He is the Prema Avatar. You can say he is the embodiment of pure love, but also he is giving Karuna Avatirno. Like in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, there's this verse. It says, Ajanu lambita bujo kanakavadato sankirtanaika pitaro kamalaya taksho vishwambara dvijaburo yugadharma palo vande jagat priyakaro kanura avataro. Again it's said there, he is Karuna Avatar. So Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is described to be the Vyas of Chaitanya Lila, and also Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who is even the greater Vyas because he's Manjari, he also gives this word, Karuna Avatar. So Mahaprabhu is the incarnation of pure mercy. Okay? So what is he giving? Unata Ujvala Rasam Svabhakti Shriyam. That Unata Ujvala, Unata means the topmost, Ujvala, effulgent, mellow of divine love. It said Svabhakti Shriyam means devotion for himself, but it means in that position of being the maidservant of Srimati Radhika, Palyadasi Bhav. That's what it refers to specifically. So, Unata Ujvala Rasa, that's described to be the topmost possible attainment of the living entity, to become the maidservant of Srimati Radhika in eternal Braj. So therefore it's called the Unata. Unata means the topmost, and Ujvala means effulgent or most desirable. The most effulgent and desirable and the topmost mellow of love is that which can be attained by the jiva, which is to become the manjari of Srimati Radhika. So Mahaprabhu came to give that. Krishna came as Mahaprabhu to give that. Unata Ujvala Rasam Svabhakti Shriyam. So then third line, Hari Purata Sundara Dyuti Kadamba Sandipita Sada Hridaya Kandaris Puratu Vachinanna. So he is Hari Purata Sundara, he is very beautiful. Dyuti Kadamba Sandipita, and we always meditate upon him in our hearts. Okay, so then we'll go to the next verse. Just go through them quickly now as like a revision. And then tomorrow you can each say them yourselves. If you want, we can do a video for it also. And you can explain as much as you like also, okay? But now we're just giving an overview. Prem ras niryas kurite swadan raga marga bhakti loke kurite pracharan rasika shekara Krishna parama karun dvi hetu hoite chara udgam. So this is also from Adi Lila 4, 15 and 16. So what is this? This is also similar to the other verse. It's saying that he wanted to taste korite asvadan prem ras niryas. Niryas means the deepest or most concentrated essence of prem ras, that mellow of divine love. So prem ras niryas again refers to this manjari bhav or radha palyadasi bhav, because it's the prem ras niryas. Like in prem, there's different levels. There's vatsalya prem, the love of a father or mother for Krishna. There's sakya prem, the love of a friend. Okay? But there's madhurya prem on different levels of the different groups of Sakis, the Svapaksha Gopis, the Tatashta Gopis, the Surit Gopis, the Vipaksha Gopis. So the essence, niryas, the deepest, most refined essence of this prem ras, pure love, he wanted to taste that, Kurite Swadan. And the second reason, Raga Marga Bhakti Loke Kurite Pracharan. He wanted to preach or spread the path of Raga Marga, which is spontaneous loving devotion, in this loka. So that is Sri Krishna. He is Rasik Shekhar Krishna, the topmost relisher of ras. He is Parama Karun, supremely compassionate. And for these two reasons, he appeared. Dvi hetu hoite ichara udgam. With the desire to fulfill these two wishes, he appeared. Okay, so that we'll learn the next one we did. Krishna varnam tvisha krishnam sango pangastra parshadam yagyar sankirtana prayar yajantihi sumedasa. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32. You remember this one? We learned this one, okay? So Krishna varnam, he is always speaking the syllables Krishna, Krishna, and he is Tvisha a Krishna. His complexion is that not Krishna. So he's not Krishna or Sham, darkish, meaning he is golden, Gauranga. Sango Pangastra Parshadam. He came with his associates, Sangha, his Upangas, which are like his servitors, and his Parshads, his very intimate confidential associates like Raya Ramananda, Swarup Damodar, Rup Goswami, Radhar Pandit, and also with his Astra, his weapons. What is his weapon? Harinam Sankirtan. So we told before about like the sloka is like a weapon. So here this is confirmed also. We talked about Astras, right? So here it said, Sango Pangastra. Astra means weapons. So what are his weapons? Harinam Sankirtan. Then Yagyar Sankirtana Prayar, the Yagya of the age. The Yagya means the sacrificial performance. Sacrifice means what you do in order to achieve the desired result, like a sadhana, practice. So the Yagya or the spiritual practice of this age is Sankirtana Prayar, almost exclusively Sankirtan. Means everything is focused on Nam Sankirtan or Krishna Sankirtan. Even Harikatha and printing books and distributing books is all included within Sankirtan. Sankirtan basically means congregational chanting, but also, like we know, Nam Sankirtan, spreading the holy names, spreading the glories of the name, printing the books, outreach. This is the practice of the age, the spiritual practice of the age. Then along with that, we do the other limbs of bhakti. Hearing, chanting, remembering, studying, praying, not studying, but like is Krishna Anukul Anusilanam. Anusilanam means cultivating. Right? So we do that. All the 64 limbs of bhakti are followed, but most prominent is Sankirtana. And when you do Sankirtan, everything else is successful. But without Sankirtan, what it also means, Sankirtana Prayar, without Sankirtan, nothing will be successful. And with Sankirtan, everything else you do will be successful. So that's the thing. In this age, you must perform Sankirtan. It said, Harinam, 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 Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, 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 Katiranyata. Without Sankirtan, you can never make advancement. So Sankirtana Prayar means we must perform Sankirtan, and by doing Sankirtan, all our ever sevas and all our ever limbs of devotion we follow will be successful. Yajantihi sumedasa. So very intelligent persons, they will follow this process of Harinam Sankirtan. And Mahaprabhu is Bhajami Kali Pavanam. He appeared to deliver the suffering jivas in the age of Kali. Okay, so we'll go forward. We learned this verse from the Mahabharata. Okay, we can say it together. Suvarna varna hemango varangas chandanangadi sannyasa krichama shanto nishta shanti parayana. So this is an important verse about Mahaprabhu because it's from the Mahabharata itself, which was written, compiled by Vyasadeva 5,500 years ago, even before, thousands of years before Mahaprabhu. And so this is also quoted in Ali Lila, Chaitanya Charitamrita 349. So it basically says that Krishna appears first as a Grihasta with a golden complexion. First Mahaprabhu came and became Grihasta. Then it said that his limbs are the color of molten gold. His body is extremely beautiful. He is decorated with sandalwood, and he is always chanting Krishna. So that's his lila as Grihasta. Suvarna hevarna hemango varangas chandanangadi. Then it says sannyasa krichama shanto nishta shanti parayana. Then he will take sannyas and he will be established in his mission of propagating Harinam Sankirtan. He will defeat the Mayavadis, impersonalists, who are against bhakti, and he will be the abode of all peace and devotion. So this verse refers specifically to Mahaprabhu. Okay, we're just going through it like a whirlwind. Okay, so then the next one. Everybody ready? Start with Araditam. Let's say it together. Araditam navavanam brajakananam te naraditam navavanam braja eva dure aradito dvijasuto vrajanagaraste naradito dvijasuto nataveha Krishna. I did a different melody this time. So this is from Navadvip Shataka 78 by Prabodhananda Saraswati, who is the uncle of Gopala Bhatta Goswami. So this is a very beautiful verse. We learn this, it's also in Gaur Tattva, but it's showing the importance of Navadvip also. Said that if you worship Navadvip, which is the place of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this means Gaur Mandal, Mayapur, Navadvip. If you worship Navadvip, then you are automatically worshipping Brajakananam Te. So Araditam Navavanam isn't just, it means the 9 islands of Navadvip. So we think generally of Navadvip being Koladvip. But really Navadvip is all 9 islands. So when we say Araditam Navavanam, it said by worshipping Araditam, all the 9 islands, Navavanam, then it's the same as worshipping Brajakananam Te. But then the next line, Naraditam Navavanam Braja Eva Dure. But if you don't worship Navadvip, these 9 islands of Mahaprabhu, then Vraj is very far away, Eva Dure. Eva means certainly. It's certainly very far away. Okay? Aradito Dvijasuto Vrajanagaraste. If you worship Dvijasuto, Dvija means the Brahmin. So he's the son of, it means basically Mahaprabhu, right? So Aradito Dvijasuto Vrajanagaraste. If you worship Mahaprabhu, then automatically you worship Krishna. But Naradito Dvijasuto Nataveha Krishna. If you don't worship Mahaprabhu, you can never obtain Krishna. Never, never, never. So this shows the importance of Navadvip and Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So that's why it's an important verse to learn. Okay, one more. Yata yata Gaura padara vinde vindeta bhaktim krita punya rasi tata tatotsarpita hridya kasmad radha padam boja sudamburasi. Chandramrita 88. Okay, so this one's also very sweet. Said, to that degree that you develop pure devotion for Gauranga Mahaprabhu as a pious soul, Krita Punya Rasi, to that same degree, automatically, without any other cause, akasmat, without any other cause, that nectar of love, or it's called like Radha Padamboja Sudambirasi. It's a very difficult to explain concept in a few words, but that ras, which is like an ocean of nectar, coming from the feet of Srimati Radhika. Why does it say coming from her feet? Because those who relish it are the palyadasis, those who are maidservants. Means those who are always like serving her lotus feet, who are at her lotus feet. Like we pray, palyadasi kori lalita sundari amari agya. Please, when will I be accepted as Srimati Radhika's palyadasi? So if we want to taste that Radha Padamboja Sudamburasi, if we want to taste that topmost nectar coming from Srimati Radhika, her love, then the only way is to become her maidservant. But then how do we taste that nectar? It is said, simply by developing devotion for Gauranga, to that degree that your devotion develops for Mahaprabhu, simultaneously, without any other cause, akasmad, this nectar of love and the ocean of divine ambrosia coming from Srimati Radhika will automatically appear within your heart. Hridya kasmad will appear in your heart, hridya, without any other cause. That's why it's very special. That's why we are worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we have a few minutes left, okay? So we'll just talk about, it's not so much time, but I wanted to tell us some important things about Krishna, actually. That why did Krishna come as Mahaprabhu? It's like two stories. Maybe we'll just tell one today. So we know Krishna Lila. Krishna appeared in Braj and he performed many pastimes with the Sakas. If we read Bhagavatam from the 10th canto, we see first Krishna's pastimes in Braj with mostly Madhya Yashoda, Nanda Baba, his infant pastimes when he's a baby. Then how he kills different demons. Then we hear how he plays with his friends and steals butter and kills other demons. Then ultimately everything's leading up to Madhurya Ras, that loving exchanges and loving relationship with the Gopis, right? So then we hear about the Gopis developing rag, the manifestations of their Purva rag, which is attraction to Krishna before they've met. They haven't met externally, but because most of these Gopis were sadhan siddhas, they'd been performing practice to attain the position of being Gopis for millions of years or thousands of years in different kalpas, ages. And then they have achieved Swarup Siddhi, which means they're spiritual forms in Prakrit Braj, Braj that manifests in this world. But they're still not completely perfect in the sense that they haven't achieved like Vastu Siddhi. They haven't come under the shelter of the Nitya Siddhas, the eternal associates of Krishna, the Radhika and her Sakis, etc. So then they perform Katyani Brat. This is in the Bhagavatam. After Katyani Brat, Krishna promises them that in the coming year, in the autumn season, he will call them. So then at that Sarad Purnima, Krishna plays on his flute. When the full moon is bright, fully effulgent in the sky under the Kadamba tree, when the breeze is gently blowing and it's a very sweet atmosphere, the fragrance is very full of all the flowers in Braj. Then all the gopis come to Krishna. Some of the gopis are held back in their homes and they give up their bodies at once and they're in spiritual forms, they appear before Krishna. Then Krishna tells them to go home and tricks and plays with them. It's like for their purification. Then finally Krishna performs his Ras Leela with them. Then afterwards Krishna disappears. Then they search for Radharani. The sadhan siddhas find Radharani and realize her topmost glory, seeing the extent of her separation from Krishna and how much more powerful her love is for Krishna. Then under the shelter of Radhika, they come again to the Jamuna's banks and they sing the Gopi Geet, the songs praying for Krishna to return and expressing their love for Krishna. Then Krishna comes back and they meet with him and talk with him and they ask him about different kinds of love, what kind of love Krishna possesses. Then Krishna speaks with them. After that, there's more pastimes. Krishna leaves, then there's Brahmar Geet. So there's many pastimes of Krishna. So after the Ras Leela, when he returned, basically after he returned from the Gopi Geet, once the Gopis sang Gopi Geet, Krishna came back. They gave all their dopatas, their shawls for him to sit on. Like when the Gopis are wearing this upper part, no? This one we give every day on Radharani Lita Vishaka. They gave these to Krishna as a seat. When Krishna appeared, then all the Gopis took up their shawl and folded them and gave them to Krishna, and Krishna sat on top. It's showing their love for him, actually, that when someone comes that you love so much, or you give them a seat. And then Krishna was also wearing pitambara darag shragvi shakshan man mataman, which shows humility. I forgot my chadar today, but generally you're supposed to wear a chadar because it shows a sign of humility, actually. Vaishnavas wear. It said, Galavastra Sudam Kritanjali, right? That wearing a cloth around your neck, showing humility, then I fall down before the feet of the Vaishnavas. So Krishna also had this chadar around his neck, and he was like folding his hand before the gopis. Oh, I'm so sorry, I left, please forgive me, So then they gave him a seat, he spoke there. So at the end of that dialogue, Krishna said one beautiful verse. After that, they again performed Ras Leela. and then they played in the Jamuna, they went in the Kunjas, they wandered on the banks of the Jamuna, very sweet pastimes. But Krishna said this one verse, Napare aham niravadya samyujam, sasadhu krityam. So Krishna said, I'll just go quick because we don't have much time now. Krishna said, I can never repay you. He told the gopis, he said, your love is completely, spotlessly pure. You are the topmost sadhus. Sadhu means very pure or very excellent, very saintly. So he said, gopis, oh you gopis, you are the topmost sadhus. You're the most pure, the most exalted, the most excellent sadhu. And I can never repay you. Krishna said, if I try to repay you, you only, if I say, okay, like if we look at other incarnations of the Lord, when he appears in the Bhagavatam, it's described, he offers his devotees benedictions. Dhruva, Prahlad. But Krishna said to the gopis, if I offer you a benediction, you will only ask for more service to me. He said, we can know if we're following pure bhakti. If Krishna comes to us and say, oh, I want to give you a boon. Then what should we say? Oh, Krishna, please, yes, I want one boon. What is that boon? Please take away all that tendency that is within my heart to ask for benefit from you. Then we can follow bhakti. He said, as long as we have some desire for personal gain in exchange for our devotion, then we are like a merchant. Prahlad told Nrsingadev, when Nrsingadev said, what do you want? He said, oh Lord, if I ask something from you, then all my devotion for you would just be like a businessman. That, oh, you are God, so you're very powerful, and if I worship you, then you might become pleased and give me some benediction. But all throughout the world, people are doing this with God. Aishwarya Shitil Prem. They're worshipping God in awe and reverence, Aishwarya Mood, and praying for some benefit from Him. So this is not bhakti, it's never bhakti. So Krishna says, I cannot repay you, because if I ask to repay you, you're just going to ask for more seva. And then the devotees say, oh Lord, give me the boon that I never ask for anything from you. The devotees don't want anything from Krishna, like Yashoda. She's not thinking, I'll feed Krishna and then maybe I'll get some mystic opulence or beautiful situation. They only serve Krishna because they love Him. And if He wants to give them something, they just ask for more service. So Krishna said, therefore I can never repay you. So then when the Vaishnavas describe this verse, they say, Krishna then thought, I'll come again as Gauranga Mahaprabhu. I'll take the mood of Radhika, the complexion of Radhika. As Srimati Radhika, I will come again to this world and I will spread the glories of the gopis everywhere. In this way I can start to try to, I cannot repay you, but I can at least show my gratitude. Like if we show our gratitude to Guru, this is called kritagyata, gratitude. And if we are agritagya, ungrateful, it is said we're like the lowest form of disciple. If we have Guru and Guru gives us so much help, and if we are ungrateful, akritagya, then it said, oh, we will fall into a hellish condition. So Krishna thought, I can never repay the gopis, but at least I can show my gratitude. I will appear with the mood and complexion of Radhika. I will appear in my next incarnation as Sachinandan Gaurhari. And everywhere I will expand the glories of the gopis, especially Srimati Radhika. So this is one of the reasons he came. We heard there are different internal reasons, but one of the reasons was he wanted to expand the glories of the gopis everywhere. Radhaya pranaya mahima mach prachar. There's another verse that said, Anandalila Maya Vigra. Anyway, it said in the end that Radha Pranaya Mahima Prachar. It's actually a Guru Tattva verse, but it's connected to Gauranga. But in the last line it said, Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Prachar, to preach the glories of the love of the gopis and Srimati Radhika especially. So Krishna thought like that. Another reason that he came is that after Braja Lila, in this world, it said concluded. This is called Boma Braj. So there's one Braj in this world, and then there's Braj in this transcendental world. So after Braj Lila in this world concluded, then Krishna went back to the transcendental world. And it said when he was there, he was feeling somewhat morose, disheartened. And the gopis could not find Krishna. They searched for Krishna. Finally, Vishaka found him. And she saw Krishna appearing very morose, weeping. Why are you upset, Krishna? They were looking for Krishna for many hours. They wanted to have fun and play, but they saw Krishna very sad. And he told Vishaka, I came to that Martya Loka, the abode of death. I came to earth as Krishna, and I brought all of you, and I wanted to show the glory of your love. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusham dehamashrita. I took a human-like form and I performed these pastimes that people could see. But then it said, instead of this medicine helping them achieve liberation and come to my own dham, Krishna appeared, showed us his pastimes, and so that we can develop love for him and transport from this world to his own world. And there we can experience full happiness and bliss. But he said, many people now are criticizing the gopis and saying, oh, they left their husbands and they enjoyed with Krishna. Also, Krishna has a very low-class nature. He's a debauchee. He danced with the wives of many other men. It's very inappropriate. And so the gopis and Krishna were both criticized so much. So Krishna was thinking, I'm okay if they're criticizing me, but they're criticizing your gopis, so I'm very upset. He said, they don't understand. We are, like we said, you cannot separate fire from its heat and light. So you cannot separate Krishna from his Shaktis. This is the divine play of the Absolute. Krishna is dancing with his gopis for the sake of the enhancement of the sweetness of their pastimes. The gopis are externally married to other gopas. But even those gopas are all Krishna's himself in one form. And we know through the pastime of Brahma Vimohan Lila, even those sakas are Krishna. But to enhance the Parakya Ras, the paramarital of love, which is the topmost ras, because there's the most sweetness, there's the most ras, or the most flavor, when they cannot meet externally. There's all these impediments to external meeting. But still they'll cross over all these impediments and arrange to meet. And there's no like social custom, oh, you're my husband, you're my wife, I'll serve you, I'll maintain you. The husband will maintain the wife will serve. He said, no, that in Swakiya Ras, a married relationship, there's not the same sweetness as Parakya Ras. Krishna doesn't maintain the gopis. Krishna doesn't provide a house or give cloth. The gopis don't take anything from Krishna. And on the other hand, the gopis don't have to serve Krishna like as a wife serves the husband. They serve him only because they love him. It's not required. So to enhance Parakya Ras, the gopis and Krishna are the gopis are married to other gopas, and Krishna is not married to them, but still the force of their love pulls them together. So Krishna said, we are connected. Shakti Matora Beda. You cannot separate Shaktiman, Krishna, the possessor of potency, from Shakti, his potency, his beloveds. You cannot separate them. But for the sake of pastimes, they manifest this lila of Parakya Ras. But then people criticize. So Krishna was thinking, now people are criticizing us, especially the gopis. So he was very sad. So he thought, I will appear again, he told Vishaka, as Sachinandan Gaur Hari. I will appear with the mood and complexion of Radhika, and I will become a sannyasi, a renunciant, and I will show them the glory of your love in a way that they can understand. So therefore, and the gopis wanted to appear in their own Shakti forms, like feminine forms. But Krishna said, no, if you want to come with me, you have to come in male forms. Last time you came as gopis and people could not understand our relationship. So if you appear in this kind of form and we preach the glory through philosophy, through expanding this divine conception, then people can start to understand the glories of the gopis. That's why we heard this verse, Naraditam Navavanam Brajakananamte. If we don't worship Navadvip and Gaur Hari, we'll stay very far away from Krishna and Braj. Because Krishna appeared again as Gauranga Mahaprabhu so that we could figure out the real speciality of the gopis and this Madhurya Ras. That's why it said, Prem Ras Niryas Kurite Aswadan, Raga Marga Bhakti Loke Kurite Pracharan, to preach that specific mood of the gopis and the glory of their love, Prem Ras Niryas, the deepest essence of this Prem Ras, which is the love of the gopis, to spread that Radha Pranaya Mahima Prachar, to spread the glory of that love, he appeared as Sachinandan Gaur Hari. So Krishna, he came, and all the gopis also came as his associates, who are all like the acharyas. Even Gaur Leela is going on now. Gurudev is one of Gaur Hari's associates, but he's also Radhika's Manjari. That's why they're so connected. When we say in this verse, Radha Padamboja Sudamburasi, if we want to taste that nectar coming from Radhika, then just worship Gauranga. Because who is Gauranga? Gauranga is Krishna with the mood of Radhika, with the complexion of Radhika, and with all of her associates. Who is Ramananda, Vishaka, Lalita, Swarup Damodar, Rupa Goswami, Rupa Manjari, Sanatan Goswami, Lavanga Manjari, all the Manjaris and Sakis are Mahaprabhu's associates. So if you develop bhakti for Gauranga, automatically, Radha Padamboja Sudamburasi, automatically that nectar of the love of Srimati Radhika will be revealed to you, automatically, without any other endeavor. Hridya Kasmad, it will automatically manifest without any other cause. So therefore Mahaprabhu appeared. So it said, so this is the two of the pastimes that the Vaishnavas speak, that Prabhuji speaks particularly. He tells us about this pastime and shows the glory that this is one of the reasons, one of the main reasons Mahaprabhu came, to reveal the glories of the gopis, to establish a proper conception. Because as a sannyasi, then people realize, oh, it's not any kind of mundane relationship. Otherwise, they think Krishna and the Gopis, it's a mundane relationship like we have, like Romeo and Juliet. They have a mundane conception. But he shows, now I am a sannyasi, completely renounced from everything in this world. And the only goal of my life is prem, Krishna prem. Prem dana vinya. If I cannot get this wealth of prem, my life is useless. So we can continue tomorrow. Okay? Like 5-6 days since we did this, so we had to catch up.